What is happening, friends of CCP Podcasting? Welcome to a very special Beyond the Bell Live. I am Chris Page. That is Todrick Ramsey. This is a happening. Welcome, Toddy. Are you stoked to make a little history for CCP Podcasting today?
This is an amazing show. I am so happy to be here today. Um, the entire world has seen more than I care to share when it comes to the meaning of women in wrestling, especially if you're watching that infamous WrestleMania reaction. Um, so, just having our guest on here today, I am over the moon ecstatic, and I cannot wait to talk to her. Um, I feel like since we started watching House of Champions, she's someone who's been special to me every time I've seen her come out. So I'm just so excited.
It is going to be a fun show, and with it being our first Beyond the Bell Live, most of the time you guys are seeing us on YouTube or you're catching our clips out there on social media. This is going to be special, and when I thought about maybe trying to do these shows live, if even if this was the only one that we get an opportunity to do live, I wanted to do it where it would be big. And for me, this is big because you're correct. We stumbled in the House of Champions probably January, uh, and came into literally the first show, the first segment of the announcement that they are going to be crowning their first House of Champions women's champion. And I know your passion for women's wrestling. We share it to you dive deeper and way more passion. I didn't get boo boo faced when Naomi lost. Uh, but at the end of the day, it was that plus some of the stories that were going on. It was enough to hook us in. And with it being centrally located with me, I was able to go down and catch a show. Then we were able to go, and we'll get into some of this in just a few minutes. But at the end of the day, I say go big or go home, and I don't know if I can get any bigger than having the inaugural HOC Women's Champion. It's Ivy Mercer. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you guys for having me here. I'm really stoked to be here, honestly. Thank you guys for giving me your space to, share my things here.
Yeah, no, this is gonna be great. Again, when we stumbled into House of Champions, it was a breath of fresh air to a degree, and as we'll get into some of that down the line, before we get too deep and we even get going, Mr. Ramsey, I know that you've been waiting to welcome Miss Mercer to the show live on Twitch to our entire audience. So the floor is yours, sir.
It is so incredible to have you here with us to see your journey and to finally get to talk to you in person, to hear the stories behind what we already saw. Incredible body of work, amazing talent. You look great in the ring, and you know, just seeing that moment, like I told you before, and I will tell them off air, I have to control myself in situations. So I had to go to YouTube and watch that match before we came on air where you won that championship. Because I'm like, you can't cry on live TV. But I don't know if we're gonna make it, but I'm gonna try.
Oh,
So welcome to the show.
we're not gonna make it because like you're gonna cry and it's gonna be great and I may cry with you. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Uh, Ivy, you've had such a from what I've seen over the last several months, you've had a really good run. And when we start these things off, man, I always like to ask everybody who comes on the show because everybody falls in love with professional wrestling in different genres and different ages, if you will. Like I was a Crockett guy in the 80s, and I'm always curious to know where your fandom and what your love for professional wrestling comes from, and at what point in time in your life did that become a thing?
So I always grew up watching wrestling like on and off when I was growing up with my brother. My uncle is a super fan of wrestling, like when I say fan, like crazy, crazy fan. And but in addition to that, my parents were pro wrestler in Puerto Rico. So I was around a little bit of in that environment. I didn't understand it before, but I was around wrestling. I remember my dad's gear, my mom's gear too, like in the house. Like it was normal for me, but I didn't understand that they were doing the things that I like to watch on TV, if that makes
Right.
sense. So yeah, I'm always been a fan of wrestling like that. But it's mostly because it's my family background as well. My godmother, my godfather, who were also my boxer trainers, they were pro wrestlers as well. So that's where it kind of like goes
Oh, it's
until now.
definitely a family tradition here, is what that sounded like to me. When did you realize that they were professional wrestling? That that's what they were doing? You said initially like you didn't know. When did it sink in that, oh, you guys are out here tearing it up on the weekends? When did that reality set in?
So I guess I started to understand when I got older that and started to see my mom's pictures and some of the video that we kind of like uh got a hold of, and then I was like, oh, so my mom was a professor. That is so cool. My mom is so cool. What the heck? But it was mostly like a thing when you grow up and you go like, oh wow, I should, you know. So
Con-
yeah, as growing up, I understood that they were doing pro wrestling. So I was like, that's cool.
Connected that dot real quick. We can go over to our
Yes,
chat. We
pretty
got
much.
shout outs from Goth from the Netherlands. Devlin Knight from the UK says hello, hello. We got UK Paul in chat with us. JB says great to have you here. You guys, if you have questions, you can drop them. We'll get them asked as quick as we can. It looks like 787 Denny Sir, IVM Ivy. We've got some chatters going on, so feel free to drop your questions. Toddy, we come around to you as we get into to know a little bit more about Ivy in the younger years and finding out that her parents were actually professional wrestlers.
Did you? So you got to discover wrestling through your parents. Were you backstage at all? And did you meet any talent that particularly stood out to you during that time period?
I like my dad when he tell me like stories whenever he was like filming promos. He said that he would leave me like in a little corner, and he was yelling that I would cry, but I don't remember those moments. But he said that whenever he would do like a promo and he would like yell at the camera and stuff like that, I would get so scared of like I was like so. But I don't remember because I was like probably like I was a baby pretty much.
Mm.
Right now I'm 28 years old, and that was a long time ago when they were like really young. So basically, pretty much don't remember, but I remember the gear and those like things around the house, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. When did you decide that this was something that you wanted to try and do?
Pretty much when I was like 18 or 17, I kind of like got like I stopped watching wrestling, but then doing when NXT was starting to be NXT, like
Hmm.
after Florida Championship Wrestling, I started to go back in wrestling, but specifically watch those shows, not the main roster or anything like that. So, and that was kind of like gave me like a spark, because at that time I was doing boxing, but I never thought I was interested in wrestling or stuff like that. And then I was like, I'm gonna start looking for school, but I was young, and there weren't like when I was in Florida during that time when I was 18, there weren't many wrestling school, and um so I didn't have options, so that kind of like dream kind of like went away, and I would just going my normal life and my the things that I always done, and then I kind of forget about the wrestling, but I kept watching wrestling and then on and off again, and then flash forward, like I started to get interested in wrestling. I graduated high school. I was still doing boxing like on the side. And then my goal was to become a boxer or like an MMA fighter, but not a wrestler. Like still like the thought of being a wrestler was not there at all. But I kept watching wrestling. But then I was like, I got bored of this of boxing. I got bored of that. Uh, and then I met this in the gym. This lady. She was at the American Gladiators. I think her name was Dallas on the American Gladiators, and she was like, "Hey, I heard that you coach, your boxing coach told me that you're interested in wrestling. I have uh I know a school, and then I went to check out the school, like the wrestling school back then that used to be at Kissimmee, and I went, and I was so ready to start doing that time. And then, but they moved the school to another area, and then that kind of delays it. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, I guess no wrestling for me then. And then a couple years later after that, that was probably like 2017, 2018, around that time. Then I was ready again. I started to look for school, and I saw that more schools are popping up in Florida. And I was like, okay, so now is my chance. So in 2020, I bought all my wrestling gear, my boots. Like I was decided. Like I was like, I'm already
Committed.
like I bought my gear, and COVID happened. COVID
Oh.
happened. Everything shut down, and I was like, okay, I guess no wrestling for me. And then I kind of like got discouraged a little bit because I was like, okay, life keeps putting all of these walls, like, it keeps putting all of these like stop signs like right on my face, like that. And then I was like, okay. And then I went to college, so getting an education. I was like, okay. And then a couple years later, in again 2023 now, I was one day, I was like, okay, so now I'm going, I have my things. I need to go to a wrestling school now. And then I was decided to go to a specific school. I already like put my mind that I was going to that school. It's really close to my house, like 5 minutes away, literally. And then I was on Instagram one day, and then I saw an ad from the HOC, and I was like, what is this school? I never seen this school before. And I was like, it's weird because he doesn't have like a lot of information about it. So I thought, is this a scam? And then I was like, okay. I went to Instagram, and then I saw like they had like the free class training, and I was like, okay, before I go to that one, let me try this one. This one looks new. I don't know, and I like the facility as like what I saw on social media that day. And then I went to my free class, and I was like, oh, this is why I had all those stops moments, because they were waiting for this place for me. They were saving this place for me. And then like I went to that training, and I fell in love with the hog and the people in there at that time. Like I went to the hog when he was 4 months old. So
Mhm.
like and then I fell in love with that. I was like, wow, this
This
is wrestling then.
this sounds like the epitome of you can be ready for wrestling at any point in time, but wrestling has to be ready
Hmm.
for you. And it
Yeah.
sounds like with those roadblocks that were being put in front of you as you were trying to get your journey started, had to wait for that one moment to be right. And it feels like that connected. Like everything happens for a reason. And the Hawk, and by Hawk we mean House of Champions, which is just right in the Orlando area. Uh, the fantastic facility. Been there myself a couple times to a couple of different shows, which we'll get into here in a minute. But I think that I feel like that is like it's a sign. It's not
Hmm.
it's it's not coincidental that all this happened and happened the way that it happened. So
Hmm.
when you get your foot in the door at the Hawk and you've committed, you're going to this first training class, you're gonna check it out, you're gonna see what's happening. You make it through that first training class. What's your thoughts when you walk out the door? What are you thinking? Obviously, it's yes, this is the place, but uh, you know, what's your mind? What's running through your head when you're thinking about putting pen to paper and making this happen?
So at first, like in my head, I was like, what am I like when I like decided to go to the first class, I was like really nervous, of course. Like I was like, this is way out of my comfort zone. Like I done like a bunch of sports, but wrestling is different because you're it's not the same as the thing that you like when you train pro wrestling. It's not the same as watching. Like you like it's a different experience. And I was really nervous. And then when I like decided and I signed my contract and everything, I was like, do I even belong in this? Like, I do. What am I doing? Like, come on now. I was like talking myself out of it a little bit, but I think it was just the same. It was nervousness and me putting myself out of my comfort zone. And I'm so glad that I pushed myself out of that comfort zone because if it weren't for that, I wouldn't been doing this. Like, this is out of my comfort zone. So I was really excited. I was nervous, and I was like, "Let me try it because it's better to try it instead of like living with regret. Even if it's a 5 years career or whatever. Like I did it at least.
Sure, sure. I mean, that's my, Devlin in chat. Going back to your wrestling school movement, that's exactly what happened to him. Just nothing ever popped back up. He's over in the UK. Uh, my day was 1999 to 2005. I had a small stint, and I'm happy with what I was able to do back then. And that was just that little taste. And now, fast forward, and I never thought that I would do anything with wrestling again, professionally.
Mhm.
And now here we are. The last 2 years we dove into independent wrestling and have made a lot of really good friends all over the world, promoters and talent, and uh, you know, I, it's given so much back. It's the epitome of, again, you can be ready for wrestling, but when wrestling's got to be ready for you, and you find your callings in different ways. And I'm curious, when you start that initial training to get into figuring things out, as far as the actual training process itself. Let me rephrase the question because I just tongue tied myself. Everybody has some difficulties when they're getting started. For you, what were some of yours that you had to navigate through, as far as with the training aspect? An example, mine was always footwork. It took me months and upon months to get it down and to finally accomplish it and conquer it. Anything that you may have had troubles with, and how did you get through those trials and tribulations as you're going into your journey?
I guess I would say getting out of the habit of the boxing, like the way my body's used to standing because of boxing. Because I always know like this is the only way I'm supposed to be standing, but in wrestling you have to be more specific on the way you stand, how you do things with which arm. You know what I mean? Like there's more, and so I
Hmm.
was struggling of getting out of that mindset of this is another thing. So you have to get rid of those background knowledge pretty much if you want to do this. And just learning how to control my body, specifically like doing flip bumps. Like I never thought I was gonna be able to do stuff like flipping myself over like that. But I used to struggle with that one, controlling my body and
Hmm.
my body weight and trusting that I'm gonna land the way I was trained to land properly. So those are the things that I was start when I was starting that I was struggling with.
Toddy, let me come around to you. Go ahead.
Um, it's interesting to hear you say that because everybody that we talk to always talks about how great you are at training and how fierce you are at the ring, and you can see that. So, and actually, that was the question I was literally going to ask, was the transition between boxing and wrestling. But you're there now. You're committed. The cards have all lined up, and you're in training. What's it like when you first started doing promo work?
Promo for me, since I speak my first language is Spanish, of course.
Mhm.
So doing promos for me, I was so nervous always doing or public speaking in general because when I had to do like presentations in school, I would dread it so badly that I would like I would feel my heart like racing. So that was one of the things that I've been like, and I still be like, I'm working on it. But the nervousness of speaking in front of people, especially when you have to present this persona, like it has to be you 10 times you, pretty much, like confidence, like you have to be something that you're not usually like that. So um so doing promos, getting out of my comfort zone as well on doing things, because I didn't like public speaking, and but this is wrestling, so you have to do public speaking. There's a bunch of people watching you. Speaking, learning how to I guess pronunciate like words, and like training, like I would, like I didn't see myself like me training how to speak, you know what I mean? Like that was the least thing in my mind, but I needed to learn how to speak in order to be able to do promos or like being in interviews. Like when I joined wrestling, I didn't know that I was gonna work on that part of wrestling, you know,
Hmm.
that the image, the presentation, and all those things. So yeah.
Go ahead, Todd. Keep going.
So now you've got that down pack. You know who you're going to be in the ring. You know what your character is. What did you do to start fine tuning and just get that refined to the person that we see now?
So it's pretty much like myself, but like I said,
Mhm.
like it's like me. Oop, turn it up. Me turned up, like the way I see it like this. Okay, how I was when I was doing boxing, how I was presenting, what image I was presenting when I was doing boxing. Also, I was presenting that I'm not scared. Uh I wasn't showing like I was nervous. I wasn't showing uh like like I wasn't showing those things that might be considered like weaknesses, because I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight with someone. I'm gonna spar with someone. I cannot let them know that I have a weak side. So pretty much all of those things, that's how I started crafting. Okay, so Ivy Mercy is gonna be like me, but like up to here. So that's why I
Right.
come out like the way I come out. So that's how I started to create that, and it took work. It took
Mhm.
work and sitting down by myself and like think about, okay, how, what am I gonna do? And something that's natural for me. It's not like I'm not like pretending to be someone, but it's me. But it's just me up to here, pretty much.
Right.
Well,
Well,
it's
that definitely shows.
nope. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
No,
Finish.
it definitely shows because I remember the first time I saw you and you were wrestling. So the commentary team said it later on in the match, and they were like, "This is her first match." And I remember being on the stream, and I was like, "This is her first match? Like, are you serious?" And um, you had the confidence. And one of the things that I did notice is you have this game face to where you can just self-correct and adjust. If anything was off, nobody would know it. And sometimes people visibly give that away, but you were very, very, very good at it. And I'd have to go back and watch the match, but I remember something happened. And I just remember your reaction and how you instantly just pulled it back. And I was like, she's one that I'm gonna keep watching. I remember that moment vividly.
It's funny that that's where you were going because that's exactly where I was going, just in a different way. Where I was going was, it was interesting on from my perspective is as we're watching back the House of Champions show. One of the first people that we see coming out through the curtain is none other than who? It's Ivy Mercer. And as we're watching, that was a piece of what kind of when that commentator made that comment and I saw Toddy's ears go up. Mine went up too because I was like, hang on a second. Because again, this is a first time watch for us, as not only as a
Mhm.
product, but as you, the talent, as well. So as we're checking this out, now we're checking boxes because we have no context. In the first 30 minutes of the show, we find out that this is a majority students. And we find out that this is, 2 hours away from my front door. So, and we're an independent wrestling channel. This is 90% of what 95% of what we do. Now I'm my interest is piqued because if what I'm seeing in the ring, which, I think I even said it in the final thought, was everything clean? No, it's not. But it's not going to be if you understand what you're coming in and you're watching and you understand what's happening here. Like, it's not that anything was egregious by any means, because that is not the case. But it just was what I was for perspective purposes. Your bubbly personality explodes through the television or through the screen, I should say. 'Cause, and it drew us in. And then knowing that that was one of your first matches, if not your first match on HOC, TV for all extensive purposes, makes it even that much more impressive. So what's going through your mind as you have made your way through the training process? They now deem you, they being the entire coaching staff. Let's just go ahead and call it. Jamie Stanley, Bobby Fish, Keikoa. And, oh man, why Mama Hawk? Why am I forgetting Jamie's wife's name?
Renee,
Renee.
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 Why am I forgetting Mom? I call her Mama Hawk. That's how I know her. Uh, the entire coaching staff there. Real quick, let's and then we'll get into your thoughts as you're coming out through that curtain and what got you there. Deserve to have a little pat on the back because they're clearly doing something right when you are getting the class, and I call you guys like the first class, you and Mo and Destin and Matthew, and a host of others that we're just getting our eyes on. They deserve some props because they're getting you ready right. If
Mhm.
we're watching this show for the first time out of context and it's damn near flawless, it's investing. They're it's fantastic. So let me ask you this before we get to that. What was it like to actually be able to learn from this entire coaching staff and the different levels that they offer? Because it's not just they're training you guys in a wide variety, not only with in ring, not only with promo, with marketing, with get the entire package. If you want to learn how to run the camera, if you want to do commentary, if you want to do announcing, it's not just give me your money, let's get in the ring.
Mhm.
It is a professionally laid out plan. And I say that from someone who is not a part of it by any means, but at being in the facility and seeing the facility, they're putting it together right. So chat me up about that for a second.
So I like when I first came to the Hawk, like I didn't know I didn't know who Coach K was. I didn't know who Jamie Stanley was. Like I didn't know anything. But then when I started learning from them and that they had like different things to pick out, and now that we have Bobby Fish, he even adds even more value because with Bobby Fish, I'm learning like things that you don't think that you might need in wrestling.
Details.
With so like the details that you might not think they're important, but they are. And like this week, we learned a bunch of cool things, like how to get people to the ground in different ways, how to get from here to here if you're here, like those things. And with Coach K, we train like fundamentals, like like we're always working on that aggression, reps, like doing like practice matches, doing like cardio drills to simulate like when you're gassing a match.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And with Coach Jamie too, he adds his own like feedback things because sometimes like not all like coaches are gonna see different things, but when you have like different eyes, they're gonna see like everything. It's like having like 20 eyes on you, and they're like, okay, do this, and it's gonna be better than having just one set of eyes on you. And then the other thing that when I came to the HOC, like I wasn't expecting to learn as much as social media management, present how to present yourself, how to come up with ideas, logo, character, how to bring that. Like I wasn't expecting that, but I got it, and I think it's really valuable too the way you present yourself or you market yourself, because starting to do that on my Instagram now that I like graduated and stuff like that. And I started to craft my Instagram based off of the things that I had learned from Coach Renee too. You know, like everything, all of those coaches, they bring something really important that you might not think that you need until you have it. You know.
Oh, 1000%. Toddy, what do you got? Follow up, and then we'll get into the debut.
I definitely want to talk about the family dynamic there at the Hawk because we've talked to other people and it's been different for everyone, but it all comes back to the same base. You know, you're away from your family, but it seems like everyone there cares about everyone else. They genuinely want everybody to be at their best. What was that like for you?
So when I first came to like the first day at the Hawk, I got greeted like I knew them from like a while now. So I felt comfortable. And then I was like, oh, so everyone here has the same the same mindset, the same attitude too, because you had to have, uh and then a couple weeks passed, months, years now, and they all like my brothers and like my sisters, like I spent like pretty much I spent a lot of times with them. Like we joke, it's like a crazy family, like a crazy big family. So that's the dynamic. It's like I haven't experienced like this is the first time I experienced something like this, like a family like whenever we go out and do things together, like for Thanksgiving, Christmas, like those things create even more of a family dynamic, even more. And then when you go to train, it doesn't feel like training. We're training,
Mhm.
but it is fun. And when something is fun and you're enjoying something, you pay attention. You encourage each
Hmm.
other, like you push each other. It's like whenever we're tired and sometimes we don't want to be there because we're tired from work, but we're there because we like this, and the people there makes it even better. So yeah, like this is just a crazy family. Like that's how I would describe it, like a crazy family.
One thing that comes to my mind immediately is a picture I saw on social media after Tournament of Champions. You see everybody's is having a big ass dinner after a very successful show. It was really good. It was one of those. It was good to see. It was a fun picture to see all you guys together. Uh, you get through some of the training and some of the stuff, and you do get to this opportunity to make this debut. What's going through your mind before you walk through that curtain for the first time?
I was so nervous the whole week. Like I couldn't eat as like I couldn't eat properly, but I knew I had to eat because I was training. So if I don't eat, I'm gonna pass out the gym. So I couldn't eat. I would feel like when you're cold and you kind of like shiver a little bit, but I knew I wasn't cold. It was just like I was nervous.
Yeah.
So I will feel that, and I was like I'm so nervous. So I kept like trying to relax my mind, and then until the day arrived, like that's when it amped up. So I was like, okay, so now I'm even more because there's no going back. There's no way I'm going to call coach and be like, I cannot make it. Um, so I was like, okay, and then the only way I kind of like calm myself down, I was like, no one is making me do this. Like, I'm the one making me do this. I'm the one paying for this. I'm the one coming to training. I'm the one that say yes in the first place to do this match when they asked me to. Uh, and then I started to call myself like okay, yeah, I got myself in this situation. And so, but I was really nervous, but at the same time, I was excited. So I guess the excitement of being able to get to do this, because there's many people that might be wanting to train for wrestling, but like life, don't doesn't allow that. So I started to be like, I'm grateful to be able, even if I get just to do one match, I'm grateful for the opportunity. And then the excitement took over of that So all the nervous and all the stress I was feeling that day. So the excitement won pretty much, and that's how I came out. That entrance, my first entrance, is me being really excited. I was like I had to go out and show out. I had to go out, but it was just me excited. So the nervousness went away as soon as my music hit, it went away.
We when we were watching our first show back, I think we had Wilson Dyer jump in our chat and was giving us some context as we were watching some of the stuff back, and um, we caught up with him after, um, and I ended up making the trip down. I think it was in March. I think for the March show is the one I came down to. So if you got in the ring, that was January, wasn't that your debut?
My debut was in December. Yeah,
December.
that was my
Eh,
January was my second match.
Okay, so we are still all right. We're catching you very young into your
Pretty
professional
much, yeah.
in-ring career. That's even better, and I love it because the ride that you're going to take us on is going to be tremendous. I can already feel it. When I made the trip up, right? Again, I wanted to see the facility. I wanted to see all of you guys and girls that were up there. And I don't know if I've ever told you this. I think I've told one or two people from the Hawk. And I know I said it on the show. I never had the opportunity to tell you to your face, so I'm gonna do it now. I had several people that I wanted to meet when I went up there to the show. I specifically wanted to at least come and say hello to you, and I didn't get a chance to do that until after the show was over. Um, I hung and looked for you until I saw you because I wanted to come and just personally tell you that I was enjoying what you were doing. I did not know at that point in time that that's match three, which makes it that much more impressive to me with how far that you've come. And truly, you take that a step further, that is a testament to the training that you were getting at the HOC literally from day one and the work that you're putting in to make yourself successful. Like that's mind blowing to me. And it's a perfect segue to take it a step further. And for us, when we found out that there was going to be the crowning of a new women's champion, and I don't think we've told this to anybody or said this to anybody, Toddy and I had this conversation, and I called him on the phone, and I think we knew when we watched that first show was in February for us. So for context and perspective purposes, or January was the show that we watched, and it was from December. So we did see your first match. Now I got it. All right, my timeline's correct. I told him that it was in Orlando. Told him that I was going to go down and check it out. Did go down and check it out. Gave him the specifics. We wanted to be there because of the very first fundamental reason is history was being made. There's only one first ever of anything. Um, and Toddy was up in, I think it was Alabama at the time, makes the commitment to come down. I get our tickets. And then of course, we find out that there's the first ever ladder match. We find out that this is turning into like such a much bigger deal for us watching, right? Because the show's starting to be announced. You're in the spot of being able to have the opportunity to challenge for the women's championship in this fatal four way with tremendous pieces of talent that were attached to it.
Mhm.
One of my personal favorites is Burlesque. I can't remember her first name off the top of my head right now, but she's the burlesque character. Her entrance,
Kelsey.
Kelsey's entrance is fantastic. I love her character. I have the opportunity to sit down and see this thing happen. Before we get to the crowning moment, you've worked so hard to get here. The foundation is set. The Hawk is crowning the women's champion. You are now asked to be involved in this thing, and you're about to walk through that curtain knowing that history, one way or the other, history's being made, win or lose. What's that feel
Mhm.
like for you as a to be in that elite group? Because not only is there only one first ever of anything, there's only one first ever challengers or set of challengers as well, and first ever match. So you have yourself, and we have four other great, 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 great pieces of talent. What's that look like to you?
So it was like again grateful to be able to just be there and be part of that part of the show, especially to being involved in a championship match. Because mind you, when I was looking for training school, all of those roadblocks, and then get to a moment that I'm like in a really important match with other great women in the ring. So that for me was like I was really grateful to be there. Like you said, like win or lose, I just went there to do this, like to make everyone enjoy the show, to give people emotions. Like I went there to with the same goal I have done on the past matches. Like I went to do my job, and it was a really special moment, especially given that my family, some of my family that were at the show, they traveled from Puerto Rico. Of how big or kind of like the House of Champion made the match look. It was the first, like the first ever, the first crowning of
Hmm.
a
It's
women.
history. It's history.
So yeah, it was history. So and then my uncle told me that the only reason that he went with to came to my show, it was because of the promo I posted. It was like that promo uh made me really emotional. So that's why I bought plane ticket last minute. He literally bought the plane tickets like 2 weeks before the show, and then that even touched me even more, and that made me like all of the sacrifices that I'm doing, all of the work that I'm doing at the like the work that people don't get to see, all of the training, all of the like the ups and down in the
Sacrifices.
training. Yeah, like it makes it all worth it because this is the result that I want to give people out. Like this is what I want to show. This is what I'm doing. This is what I love doing now, and it makes everything worth it. So I was really grateful to be able to be part of that piece of House of Champion history now. And be the first one, and in the way that they did it too. It was really special. Like it was a surprise for me. Like I didn't know anything. So it was really beautiful.
The build up to it was great. You had an underdog story going in.
Pretty
Um,
much.
and I had made no bones about, oh, he didn't make it the whole show. Oh, Toddy. It's okay. It's okay. You can, it's all right. The underdog story was fantastic. I had my husband with me, right? And I told him on the way down there, if Ivy doesn't win, I'm rioting. And to be there, I I I can't describe the feeling when that three count happened. Um, and that overcame me, and I'm in here as a spectator, right? Like I almost cried. I had my eyes watered for a moment. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not ashamed of it at all. And it would probably do it all over again. It's about to start now. So you're not the only one, Tony. Don't feel bad. Uh, but I had the opportunity, as your hand is being raised in the air, to look over to my right, and I see your family going absolutely insane. And I didn't know that they were your family. I could assume, and it was just the basis of assumption. And it was such a fantastic moment when you have that reality set in. The three count is made. This is we talked about history was being made, and now it's officially made. And Ivy Mercer is the inaugural House of Champions Women's Champion. You get your arm raised, you get that belt in your hand. what's going through your head, and then can you describe the emotions that were going through your body at that point in time? Uh, because I know from the perspective of the fans that the Hawk was ballistic. It was the loudest pop of the night, the loudest ovation. And that's not a shot, and that's no disrespect to anyone else on the card. The entire show was really, really well done. But as far as getting the genuine reaction, I felt like that was it was insane. I almost felt like the room was trembling. So give me your thoughts and your perspective on how this plays out for you.
So like it was wild. Like I barely remember, but I remember the feeling. Like I remember how I felt. That, like at first, I first of all, I felt confused. I thought I messed up the match so bad because on the script and like I knew like in my head, like all the plan was Kelsey going over. That's the most crazy part of this. So we planned the match, whatever, and Kelsey was supposed to go over, like in my head, like in the script, it was me. But little did I know, on the back, the coach was telling everyone. So you guys know, uh, Ivy is going over. So everyone knew, like because of the script, like Kelsey was the one that was chosen to go over. But I didn't know that they were leaving that surprise to me. Like they just threw me out there thinking that I was okay. Take the three, and I was like, good, I'll do it. But I was still gonna like like do my work. But then when that three count happened, when I did the small package to Kelsey, we planned a little bit more after that. It just didn't happen because Kelsey held on to my leg, so I couldn't kick out. Like I couldn't let her go. So she held on to the like she was like I cannot let this one go, and I didn't know she was nervous about it as well. Like she was like, what if it doesn't happen? What if she kicks out and like like it was there was a lot of like it was 50-50. It could have gone way wrong. It could have gone the way it went. It went the right way. So I was confused, and then when I saw like Sandy, the referee that was refereeing the match, when I saw that he came over and handed it to me, I was confused, but then I was like, oh my god, they play everything, like they make a plan for this moment to come out the way it came out. They wanted my reaction like that.
Hmm.
They wanted that. But little did they know, I didn't plan my family coming on that day specifically. Like I didn't know. Like I didn't plan my family on being there. Like my whole family, pretty much. Like the majority of my family. Usually, the family members that come is like 3 people, 4, but not the front. Almost the front row was my family members. For this moment specifically, that was wow for me. So I got really emotional because of that. I was like, I won this championship in front of my family member, especially the ones that I don't get to see often. They only watch the shows on YouTube. It was a confusion and excitement. Like I was so that's why I told you like I don't even remember what happened. I remember because I saw the live stream when we were studying, but it's like if you ask me what did I do, what like I don't remember if it went for that video.
I I need to hold on a moment because I think we have someone in chat that just popped in. Toddy, do you wanna throw the screen name out there?
It looks like Elena Mercado, and she
Yes.
says, "Proud mom, mommy loves you," and she gave a heart.
Being able to have that moment in front of your family, and like I said, there's only one. There's only one first. Uh, and I know me from my perspective, sitting in my seat. I was just waiting on you to turn my way so I could get a good picture to DM you, uh, and send it to you or put it out there because it was fantastic to see. And I know that. I'll say this, man, and I dig Coach K for this. He always keeps it interesting for you guys.
Mm,
Always. Like, look
it's
at
really great.
your situation here. Look at Max Danziger with that ladder match, and he pulls down the case, and
Mhm.
he's like, "Hey, did you bother to look inside that thing?" Like he opens
Yeah.
it up, and there's a certificate, and that just, not only winning the championship. Well, we'll come to that in a second. Toddy, I'm going to come around to you about because I know again we're both kind of teared up a little bit here, and that's okay. Uh, you have a passion for this that's unrivaled. So chat her up about her title win.
I just, for me, it was special from the announcement of the women's championship. The fact that your family was there, because you could look over and you could see them, and it's on WrestleMania weekend. This is the first it's women's championship match happening, and the way House of Champions built up this show, and I think I've said this on a couple of live streams, it really felt like that was the WrestleMania of House of Champions. And so, as we're doing predictions, I think Mo and Destin were on a show and we're doing predictions. And, it's hard to just not come right and be like, I just want Ivory to win because it's like I still have a job to do. So I have to be objective with everybody that's in this match. Um, and then seeing you win, which little good did it do me to go watch that before we started because here we are. It felt so special, and that reaction, and then watching on social media, when you got backstage after the win and you saw everybody outside, and you know it was a loud pop, and you can see it on YouTube. Everyone was on their feet. It was such a special moment, and then seeing the reaction afterwards when you went outside, what was going through your mind after all of that?
Like when I went outside, I saw like I was a little bit confused because first I saw Destin. He was literally waiting outside of the entrance. So he was the first one that gave me a hug, but he was so smiley. So I was like, "Oh, so I guess you knew that I was gonna win this." But I was a mess. So then I went outside and I saw everyone clapping and I was like, oh my God. And that even made me more emotional because they know that I've been there putting in the work pretty much. Like the same as, everyone has been putting in the work. And seeing one of your brothers or sister from the HOC getting to that point that okay, I saw you starting from here and now you here. That's a special moment. Like I get happy. Like I got happy when Mo got his diploma too. I went Dusty one. Like I got like really excited when those moments happen. Whenever like those people got greenlit, but experiencing now that I'm now on that situation now that I experienced what they experienced before me, and I got really happy for them, and they showed that same appreciation and happiness for me too is beautiful, and that's just lets you know the culture at the House of Champion. That's the family. Like if you see a family member doing good, you're gonna get happy for them. So that was so exciting, and I still couldn't believe it. And then I was already crying because of the surprise of the championship. But then I started crying even more because they pull out the certificate that I passed all my training. I wasn't even thinking about it. So that even made me even more emotional. And I'm like, I passed all my like all the basic, the fundamentals. Now I can get to do this like and show people out there uh like Ivy Mercer, and I thought it was a really beautiful moment just to get my certificate on the day I got it. Like I cannot ask for a better day than that one. Like
I
that
mean,
was the perfect day.
you can't beat it right now. I mean,
No.
the only thing that's left to do is to go up for you, right? Like the trajectory is there, and coming out of Tournament of Champions, you are the first women's champion out of the HOC, which takes us kind of where I want to go next. The locker room there is pretty talented. Uh, and there were three other individuals that were attached to the match. And there might be more that we aren't even aware of yet from the outside perspective looking in because they haven't debuted on YouTube or anything of that nature through the HOC.
Mhm.
Who are you interested in seeing maybe step up and be your first challenger for the women's championship? Because again, we got to complete the first tier. We've had the first women's championship match. We have crowned the first women's champion. We gotta have our first title defense, and we gotta have our first title retention to round out the list of first. What's it? Where do you think, or who do you want to see, come your way and knock on your door and try and take away what you just picked up?
Like honestly, I don't have like a specific person to come, but like I want someone that like it's a shock when whenever they show themselves. Like I want a shock to the people. Like I want them to shock the people and be like, okay, so Ivy Mercer has to really like like work for this, not to defend that title. I want that type of person because that's why I'm telling you, like I don't have a specific person to that, but I want someone that can be like, okay, so Ivy has to like, she has to work her butt off to retain that belt now. Like I want someone like that.
Go ahead, Toddy.
That's fair. We do have a comment that I told him I said I'm gonna find a way to get it in here. No Game Unturned said, "Seeing you come back so strong from your shoulder injury is very inspiring." What do you think about that?
That's I always forget about my shoulder injury, and it was a really difficult part of my training too, and I always forget about it. And it was one of the most horrible months ever. So I guess I blocked that out because I don't want to think about that moment. But yes, I injured myself at the beginning of March of 2024, and it was doing the shows. Like I was doing we were doing like it was when we were starting to do the shows, so we were volunteer for like referee and stuff like that. We still do, but mostly we get
Mhm.
like professional referees now.
Yeah.
But before we used to do our own shows, we used to run the shows like the students. And I was doing a ref work, and like on one of the counts, like I guess the way I landed and impacted like my shoulder, it popped out of the socket, and I felt like I felt a horrible pain. And then when I went to the doctor, and they told me that I had to pause the training, I got so sad because I was like, no, I was about to start to get like good to be on the student shows. So that kind of delayed my pretty much my debut, if you think about it, because it
Hmm.
took me like
Mhm.
6 to 7 months of recovery, physical therapy. And then the fear, I had to get rid of that fear of dislocating my shoulder again, because the doctor he told me that I'm prone to dislocations now, and if I dislocate again, I might need to get surgery to get that fixed, because that will be the only way that I'm gonna avoid another dislocation. So right now I'm training, but I'm always mindful of my shoulder because I know. But first I had to get rid of that fear of training, because I came back a little bit like I didn't want to do the things in a way that I was supposed to because I was scared. So
Mhm.
I really put in the work for that to build this shoulder back up, because
Yeah.
that was really a couple difficult months. I would have to say.
But it's it kind of comes with territory. But at least you've gotten past it and you found a way to get past it. The only thing you can do is be mindful of it moving forward,
Hmm.
and just keep the course. Also had a couple other comments here. 787 Denny said he was so proud of you. We're talking about winning the championship. Uh, Number one fan is the claim here. Goth, one of our co-hosts, says you deserve the opportunity to be the champion and being the first ever champion. Uh, Devlin said that the notion of the finish being held from you. It was insane and brilliant at the same time. They thought that your reaction was genuine, and that was amazing. Um, and I think back now, like that, what better way to get an authentic reaction than to get? And what's crazier to me is that there were at least 7 or 8 people who knew about this in advance, and it didn't get back to you.
Pretty
That's
much, yeah.
in a wrestling locker room. Come on now. Uh, Toddy, do you have any other questions? You got anything you want to ask right now?
Um, no, I just, I'm not surprised that this trajectory that you're on happened the way that happened because one consistent theme that I've noticed for you is you never give up. And whenever anything happens, you adapt and you just go stronger. And that level of perseverance and commitment truly shows why you are the champion.
I am really looking forward to seeing what the road looks like for you in the future. Uh, I said it the first time I saw you on our show privately to Toddy that this is she's got it. It's there. There's no denying it. I need to get down there. I need to see what she has going on, and I need to see a couple other people too. Have not been disappointed. Um, what I usually do as we start winding things down, and it's a question that I ask pretty much everybody, um, and it really goes something like this, and I'll preface it. So you're being put on the spot here with the question. So if she doesn't mention your name, please don't be that guy or girl, and do that. Like my social media is right there on the screen, just like everybody else's. The DMs are open. You can just DM if you're seeing this. But some people that that we should be watching. And I asked this question, which give me your answer. I'll tell you why I asked the question. Like, in your perspective, who should we be watching as a part of our channel?
I would say that you guys already have you guys said that you guys Wilson died already on the show, but that would be a person that I would say watching because he's doing great. He's
That
like he's doing great.
he is such a fantastic talker. I've already told him privately. I get Bobby Heenan vibes from him, and I don't get heated vibes from anybody. He is so witty and so quick. It is. He's a fantastic conversation and a really good follow on social media as well.
Yeah, and the other person that I would say Samuel G Kincaid.
Mm.
Like, come on now. Do I have to explain? Do I have to explain why?
Nope, the belly bump to Slade Porter. If they have not seen it, House of Champions, the HOC Pro over on YouTube. You need to go look at Tournament of Champions. The belly bump is priceless. It will live on in infamy. And
That
as
man is charisma personified.
I have taken that belly. I have taken it.
I saw a clip and I went, "Was that Ivy?" And I went, "Yeah, it was." But who else do you think that we should be watching from your point of view and your perspective? It could be, anybody that's in the scene, whether it's here in Florida or whether it's outside, like outside of Kincaid and Wilson Dyer. Who else you got?
Another person would be Barako. He's
Yep,
the one that had the match with Jamie Stanley.
yep.
So he's great. He's a monster. So he's another one that I would say definitely really humble person too. So, that's the environment at the Hog. And then when I get to see all these characters, because I know them as someone, and I
Hmm.
get to see them at this persona is amazing. Like that's what I love pro wrestling pretty much. Like that's why I love it so much. But yeah, that would be another person also, and also Armando España, the metal. Like, I can't wait for him to get back to. That's another one.
Okay, okay. I ask you that because as you know, our channel's independent wrestling, and we see it all over the world, not just here in the States. I tell people all the time, it's freaking insane to me that there's somebody on every continent who knows who we are, It's nuts. But we don't do that, and we can't move forward, and our platform can't grow if we don't know from the talent perspective on who we should be watching, because you guys are out there in the ring making it happen, working alongside these people day in and day out. So who better to ask than those who are in the ring with them and who are working with them? And what happens from there is, they go on we have a spreadsheet, Toddy and I kind of keep up with. They go on our spreadsheet and we work them into a show where we get to sit down and we'll watch their stuff and we'll, whether it's matches or what have you. It's a way that our, circle of life of professional wrestling grows. And it's also led us to, you know, new people that we haven't seen, which
Mm-hmm.
take it from us as we again watch everything all over the world. Hidden gems are everywhere. But y'all are the ones who know where they're really at. So it's a way for us to keep moving forward. My next question, what I always follow it up with, is everybody's got some matches or some opponents that they want to get in the ring with. For Ivy Mercer, what do some of those opponents look like for you? Who would you like to get in there with?
That's a really good question. So if I had to choose some opponents, I would say Mercedes Martinez because I want someone to beat me up. I want someone to beat me up for real. So I would say her. I always knew her like when I was growing up, and Amber Nova too. Like when I was looking for schools, I she was already out there like in the independent scene. So I would say those will be one of the tops.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. I think that that's fantastic because I will do what I can do to throw that out into the universe and see what we can snag. One of those names sounds really familiar to me, and wink nod. I believe that's something that we've got something coming up later on down the line. Toddy, um, let me come over to you if you don't have anything else.
I just want to say thank you so much for being here with us today. I already felt and knew it in my heart that you deserved everything that you have earned. And now hearing the journey that came before it solidifies that 200%. Um, every moment was already special, but now hearing what came before it and seeing how you just kept going and kept going and kept going, and I do believe that good things happen to good people, and it's genuine. I get that vibe meeting you in person, even when you're tired and you had like thousands of people in your face and your family was there, you were incredibly kind and incredibly giving um after, because I also pay attention to how people behave after the shows when we go to
Mhm.
these live shows. And seeing that, I was like, wow, So I just want to say thank you. And I truly mean it from the bottom of my heart. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Is there anything you would like to say to the audience before we go ahead and wind things down? I believe Mama said Ivy Mercer. Got a flex emoji, got the Puerto Rico flag emoji, some hearts. Harley and Ivy girl, you have a new fan. So anything you want to say to the people?
Just to keep watching me I'm gonna be on social media as even more gonna get there, especially when I get to the independent. So you can follow me on Danja IBM. So that's my ad on Instagram. And yeah, just come with me with my journey in wrestling.
It's
Because
been
this is only the beginning.
It is. We're just scratching the surface. Like I'm telling you, there are some really big things happening here, and there's going to be some really big things happening with you. And for us, it's going to be fantastic to be able to sit back and watch you grow over the next 5 to 10 years. And I say this because, like you told us earlier, you're 28 at this point. This is something
Yeah.
that I constantly remind people of. And it's a beautiful thing because it tells me that independent wrestling and professional wrestling specifically is going to be in really good hands for decades to come. Here's a fun fact. Um, you know, think of where you're going to be in the next 5 years. When that puts you at right around 33 ish. You're knocking on the door of your prime. You're not even there yet.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're this good now, you have the connection with the crowd. You know how to draw people in. You're really good with your storytelling. If you're this good now, and oh by the way, match number 6. Think about how good you're going to be in the next 5 years, and you're not even in your prime. Then you got another
Mm-hmm.
10. You got another 10 years at that point. If you choose to continue to wrestle, this is how I know wrestling is going to be in a good spot because there are talented young professional wrestlers such as yourself out there getting it done. You're very genuine. Your authenticity is appreciated. I'm very ecstatic that we had this opportunity to sit down and speak, and even am more excited that you agreed to come in and do it live. This is another first. We were talking about first earlier. Here's another one to add on to the list. It's a first for us, and you've been such a delight to have, truly, and I cannot wait again to see where you go next. Um, 4, Todrick Tabar Ramsey. Forgot one last thing. It's been on the screen the entire show. It's been right above her head. She's plugged it once. It's her Instagram handle. Dahadi IVM, I believe is how you pronounce it. It's if you have not done so, go ahead and hit that follow button. And if let's say you can't see the screen or you can't see the lyrics, go down below. Check the video description. It'll be right there. Give her a follow. It's free, cost you nothing. It's the easiest way that you can support independent wrestling. And I would imagine at some point merchandise might be a thing for Miss Mercer when that becomes available. The only way you'll know before anyone else outside of her is when she posts it on her social media. And that too is another way that you can support independent wrestling. It's the super simple. Grab a shirt, grab some merch, follow, share, subscribe. For Ivy Mercer, our guest for today. Thank you very much. And Todrick Tabar Ramsey,
Yes,
I am Chris Pates. We will see you next time.